The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Alongside Carson-Newman baseball coach Tom Griffin, I'm Michael Watching as the Eagles fall to Tusculum in a non-conference game 10-8. And, Coach, to me it comes down to this. You didn't start well in either phase, and on the mound you didn't end very well in this game. What do you attribute that to?
That was a good assessment because the first top half of the first inning was bad. I don't know if you could get any worse than that as far as what we got to start on the mound. And then when we came in to hit, I think we struck out first three guys. So we said, I told him, hey, listen, it can't get any worse than that inning. Unless the third guy strikes out, wild pitch, he gets on first, and they strike out a fourth guy. There was no way it was going to get worse. So we knew it was going to get better. And you hope with a veteran team that they understand that you just want to weather the storm, try to stay within reach. And I think that's where Victory came in and did a great job putting up some zeros to allow that game to stay. 4 runs, you still got a little bit of a chance. So we talked about the character we showed getting back in this. The middle relief guys, I thought Austin Connor had not had a lot of action this year, none really, and he did a tremendous job for us. That was a boost. Jonathan Jacks late in the game had not had a lot of action. So we were able to see 2 guys get work today that had not been getting work. So that was reassuring as well as what Victory did, and he's been tremendous. Perez, it wasn't his day today. And part of that was because of a lack of communication there in that game. And in that one play, 2 things happened where we didn't communicate. We didn't communicate there was a big lead, and with the runner going, no one communicated to go 1. And we talk about one of our pillars out of our 6 is communication. And we didn't do it there. And that was one of the reasons why that inning led to what happened for Tusculum. Their pitcher did a tremendous job, solid pitcher. But I think we struck out looking 6 times. That's not competitive. That's not competitive enough. And that's mental more than it is physical. Bottom line is that is a mental thing, not a physical thing. And some guys got to get out of their own way. Some guys got to get out of their own head. And how do you coach that? If I figure that out, then I'll make a fortune as a sports psychiatrist because we're all trying to figure that out. Every kid's got to figure that out for their own way of how they're going to get out of that. And sometimes, Michael, they need a little jam job base hit. They need something off the bat, something to give them more of a feel good. And, that's for some guys, that's something that's got to happen.
You mentioned the positives in terms of the pitching. There was a time in the game where you retired 14 consecutive guys, and your guys were throwing strikes. Austin Connor, Jonathan Jacks were throwing strikes, I think 6 out of 8, 7 out of 9 for their sequences in the game. You talk about on Saturday how this team has seen some things at the early portion of the season. Well, this is a Tusculum team that's picked toward the top portion of the league, and you get some of those guys some work. Does that give you some confidence and give them some confidence heading into this weekend?
That's a great point. Yes, very much so. That's a boost, because these are guys that didn't have a lot of experience in games, let alone a team like Tusculum who we know how good they are. That's a big boost going into conference play. What Jonathan did and what Austin did, that's 2 more arms that you're able to utilize on your staff. So that was key. That was a great point. I didn't realize it was that many in a row, but it felt like it kept us in the game, and then it was chipping away. And then, to have that big inning right there where you tie the game, boy, all the momentum was going right there. But that was a tough hop on Jimmy. That's nothing he could do on that ball. That ball just played up on him because it's late in the game and the field's chewed up a little bit, and that's tough play right there. But we got to communicate better. And you're right, that's a good ball club. I've said it before with Doug and Coach Steele, Coach Ireland. I think that's a tremendous staff. It's a great team. They do everything the right way. It was a good game up to that, except for the beginning. And obviously what happened to us, and it was still an entertaining game. We just got to clean up some stuff, and we got to get better in the box for some guys.
Yeah, it's the second week in a row we're talking about a slow start offensively.
Yeah.
What do you try to do as a coach to change that mentality entering a game?
Well, I think we've got to come in. We talk about attacking fastballs. We're on go. We're yes mentality. They got to just go in and do that. They've got to have more an aggressive me versus the pitcher attitude where we're getting that box and you pound the plate a little bit like it's a billy club, and you get in there and it's like, this is my box. And sometimes we're getting in there and we're maybe a little tentative and hoping we get our pick. No, ain't no hoping. It's going to come. Be ready and let it go. Let it go early. And that's what we've got to see a little more of. You're right. We have started slow. The good thing is we have done a good job later in the game, as you've seen and knowing baseball. That's pretty good. But sometimes we can't wait that long. It's been good pitchers. And we can't have innings the way they started for us, where you're playing catch-up right from the get-go with a crooked number put on you. We got to do a better job of that.
Coach, thanks for the time. We'll talk to you in a couple days.
Thank you for all you do. Thank you.
He's Carson-Newman baseball coach Tom Griffin as the Eagles fall 10-8 to Tusculum.